So here's the thing. You got the loan, right? You got the bag. You're up and you feel like you're winning until you realize you're not. And that's what I want to talk about today. And it's been a subject that's been like really bothering. It's been egging me for quite some time. So I've been interviewing quite a number of the lenders nationwide, but specifically here in the Michigan area. And there's something that many of them aren't telling you, right? And the bottom line is, look, there's a lot of lenders out there who I'll be transparent with you. Far as I'm concerned, many of them are no better than many of the check cashing places that are out there. Just being straight up with you. Um, look, or these payday loan joints dressed up in suits. To an extent, that's all they are because they look legitimate. And let me say this too: many of them are legitimate. But the bottom line is they're lending money, requiring personal guarantees, which is tied to your home, your cars, your accounts, your real estate. So many, so many failure stories that are out here that I've had a chance to interact with, unfortunately with. Um, and they basically are stealing business owners' peace of mind. What you find out is that many business owners who are securing these loans and securing capital through many of these institutions, they find themselves in a situation because they aren't receiving proper guidance, aren't receiving proper advice. The lenders aren't doing their due diligence when it comes to a couple matters I'm going to get into here in a moment, where they look up 3 to 5 years from now and their business is growing, but they're still servicing the loans. And that's a problem, right? Because look, as long as you check all the boxes, they'll cut the check, right? So they want to make sure that your credit is at a certain place, right? They want to make sure you've paid your taxes for the last 2 to 3 years. There are some other things they take into account in terms of how much, in a way, of revenues your business is generating. But in my mind, those are not the most important boxes because the bottom line is if you don't have sales management processes in place, and what I'm talking about is the ability to create predictable revenues on a regular basis, right? And to bring in new clients consistently. If you don't have business processes in place, meaning you don't have a systemic way to deliver your services or products efficiently without burning through a bunch of capital and having a bunch of chaos taking place in your business, it's going to be a real problem. It doesn't matter how much money you borrow, that bag's going to leak, right? So oftentimes people are securing monies or securing loans because, quite frankly, they've hit a bad patch, or maybe there is something that's systemically wrong with their business per se. And if you don't fix those problems, once again, it just doesn't matter how much capital you receive. And oftentimes, these loaning institutions, these wow, you can tell I'm fatigued, right? These lending institutions um, aren't asking these business owners whether or not they check the boxes I just mentioned. So, look, let me be clear about this too as well. Um, I'm not anti-loan, right? If you are securing capital because you have found a way to multiply that capital, right? To multiply that money, that's smart. Debt, when used correctly, can be a very effective weapon. Because here's the bottom line. This is what happens when you try to read a script and you only got 3 hours sleep. Anyway, here's the bottom line: is your competition is borrowing money too. And the bottom line is what they'll do if they have systems in place is they'll outspend you. That's how they'll beat you. That's how they'll defeat you. They'll make the investments in the talent, they'll make the investments in the resources, they'll make the investments in the technology, et cetera, that you're not able to make. And oftentimes business is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And they'll beat you in that marathon. And you just need to understand that look, a lot of these lending institutions, they're being compensated to lend money. That's what they're there for. Nothing wrong with that once again. Oftentimes, just many of the professionals working there, many of the individuals who are more or less serving as your lenders, they're not entrepreneurs. They're lenders, right? Many of them, maybe they've started an entrepreneur endeavor on a part-time basis, but they've never been able to earn grown adult money doing it. Many of them have never known what it's like where 100% of their income or revenue has come from building businesses and securing clients and scaling and building systems. And so as a result, they're not in a position oftentimes to give you the information you need to make sure you're making a smart decision. The bottom line is they're not there to teach you sales management. They're not there to teach you systems. And this is the thing that has been really igging and bothering me for the last several months or so, and I just finally had to get it off my chest. So look, if you've got the bag or you're about to get it, let's have a conversation, right? Let's talk about how you can keep it. So with that being said, at the end of the day, look, I celebrate success in advance. Have an incredible 2025. Goodbye for now.